everyone, today we're making a delicious, easy weeknight meal. Lemon chicken with some thyme and of course basil because I love it so much. I'm also going to give you a few tips on how I like to get the best flavor because you're going to love this recipe. I'm Rockin' Robin and I'm going to show you how to do it right after my chef joke. But before I get to that, I want to do a really quick shout out to Ray, Sadie, Dax, and Dalton. Thank you guys so much for always watching and supporting my channel. It means a lot. Thank you again. So now let's get into that chef joke. It's knock knock joke time. Knock knock. Who's there? Chicken. Chicken who? Just chicken to see who's in there. To start off, we're going to use chicken thighs, not chicken breast, although you can if you want. Thighs just are tastier, they stay more juicy, they don't dry out, and they're more flavorful. Oh, and don't forget to wash your hands after you handle your chicken. I'm going to pat the chicken dry a little bit with paper towels, and you're going to notice there might be some extra fat that you might want to trim off, so that's what I did. Here's tip number 2. Use a cast iron pan. You're going to get so much more flavor into your dish, it's crazy. Leave the nonstick for some scrambled eggs. While my pan is preheating on medium-high heat, I'm going to coat the chicken in some flour. Now I'm using gluten-free flour, but feel free to use whatever you want. When it's hot, tilt the pan to swirl the oil to cover the bottom and then lay in your pieces. We're going to cook these for probably 5 to 7 minutes, just depending on how high your heat is. And when you go to turn them over, you're probably going to have to add another tablespoon or so of olive oil. So keep your flame on a good medium high. You also want to season the chicken with some salt and pepper. So it's been about 6 minutes and I'm going to flip these over. What you're looking for is that nice golden crispy brown edge. Once you flip these over, you're going to want to season them with salt and pepper on the second side. Once that second side is browned up, we're going to place our chicken into a baking dish. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not using the cast iron in the oven, it's only because I'm adding lemon juice, which is acidic, and it can break down your nice seasoning in your pan. Now, you see all those brown bits in the pan? Well, we're going to be picking those up when we cook our onions in this pan. So this is flavor tip number 3. So we're going to go ahead and pour some olive oil in our pan, and then we're going to cook our onions in this. And that's going to get us some wonderful flavor. We're going to saute these onions for about 5 to 8 minutes, just depending on, how fast they cook up. Now you want to make sure you season this because, well, we want to season all of our layers of food. So in with a little salt and pepper. While our onions are sauteing, we're going to go ahead and mince up some garlic. I like to use quite a bit. And if you want to get the written recipe, you can find it down in the description below the video. You want to use about 4 big cloves here. I'm going to run outside here for a minute. I've got a little tree that has Meyer lemons growing on it, and we're going to use that in our recipe. So I'm going to use these 2 beauties, and there's nothing like just fresh citrus right off the tree. Next, we need to prep up a little bit of fresh thyme. I'm using organic here. So I'm just going to grab the tender parts of the stem, okay? Just peel off the leaves and a little bit of stem as long as it's soft. Then we'll chop it up nice and fine. Thyme adds some great flavor to our dish along with these other benefits. Check it out. Back to our onions. Now you'll notice they're starting to get a golden brown, and that's because of the brown bits that we picked up on the bottom of the pan. Now I'll add the garlic and we'll saute it for another minute. Now cast iron pans get hot and they stay hot, so you'll want to make sure that your heat is on medium-low heat. In this container I have 1 cup of cold chicken broth, and to that I'm adding a tablespoon of flour. Mine is gluten-free. Whisk it to make sure there's no lumps. Toss in the chopped thyme, and then we'll toss this into our frying pan. Stir this until it comes to a simmer. This is going to take a couple of minutes, and once it comes to a simmer, you're going to want to continue to cook it to cook out the taste of the flour. And if at any point the sauce gets too thick, remember you can always add a little bit more chicken broth to it. It's also important to give this sauce a little taste and then add a little bit of salt as needed. Once that's done, I'm going to pour this right over the top of the chicken. And now it's time for lemon. So I'm going to take my lemon mire and I'm going to zest it right over the top of the chicken, and I'm going to use one of those for zesting. I'm going to work it in with a spatula to evenly distribute it. And always remember to zest your lemon first and then juice it. It's just much easier. And then here goes our 3 tablespoons of the lemon juice. And I tell you, it's such a perfect amount. It doesn't overpower the recipe, but it just makes it perfect. And then of course you want to try and mix this in pretty well with a couple of utensils. So to finish off our recipe before I put it in the oven, I want to add some basil. I love fresh basil. Take your leaves, stack them up, do a little chiffonade here, slice it up, and then chop it up fine. So I like to add that along with a little more thyme. So I'll sprinkle this with a little more thyme right over the top. My oven is preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to place it in there for 25 minutes and we'll check the internal temperature. It must be time for chef joke number 2. What do mama chickens call their excess tummy fat? They're egg rolls. All right, let's check our chicken, shall we? All right, pull it out and insert a instant read thermometer, and you want the temperature to be 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And here is my favorite way to serve up this delicious dish. Homemade mashed potatoes that don't take very long at all to make. I'll leave a link for you in the description and right here on the screen. I'm going to finish this off with just a little sprinkle of basil and a little more thyme. You are definitely going to love the lemony and thyme flavor in this. It is wonderful. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to try this. I'd love to hear your results. These easy garlic brown butter mashed potatoes are what you want to try with this. Give it a go. Click the link on the screen and it'll take you right to the recipe. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, let me know by smashing the old like button. And leave me a comment. I'd like to hear what you're thinking about my recipes and if you have any recipe requests. All right, we'll see you back here next week for another delicious and healthy recipe.